Hey everybody! So almost exactly a year ago I did a video on my method for thinning Citadel paints for airbrushing, and in that year I've actually changed my process, and I've found a method that, for me at least, has been a lot easier and a lot more flexible and has improved my airbrushing quite a bit, and so I thought I'd share that with you. Now, the main difference between what I did then and what I do now is I'm using Liquitex Airbrush Medium rather than Windex or water or whatever else. And the reason I do that is because I have found that overall this is the easier way to go. And the reason that is because Airbrush Medium is essentially just the same liquid that you find in your paint. And so it's just a thinner mix of it. That means that really, no matter how much you add to the paint, your paint won't get so thin that it's going to bead up and no longer adhere. It won't lose its adhesion qualities, which makes this a lot more a flexible liquid for doing your thinning. You may or may not know that, essentially every paint is a pigment and a medium, and the medium is what allows the pigment to flow evenly and stick to whatever it is you're painting. If you add water or Windex to that, you're breaking down your medium. Think of the medium as essentially being your glue. So if your glue gets too thin, it's no longer going to stick. The other difference, though, is that Windex or alcohol or water will tend to, and certainly this is more true for Windex and alcohol, will make your paint dry really fast. And this can actually cause problems, but it can sometimes be nice when it does that. Whereas the medium will allow your paint to dry a little bit slower, which means that you're going to get a nice smooth texture on whatever it is you're painting. So that is one of the things I like about it. This here is the P3 mixing medium, which is very similar to the airbrush medium. It's a little bit thicker, but it does kind of the same thing. And I actually took a P3 mixing medium bottle that was empty, and I use that now for dispensing my airbrush medium. So I'm just going to put a few drops in here. And if you watch the other video, I don't really necessarily measure it. Again, anybody who tells you that there's a specific ratio for mixing paints is wrong. Every paint's a little bit different. It's best if you just understand the qualities of your paint and approach each one independently of the other, and it's best to just know what you're looking for in terms of consistency. So again, because this is medium, I could just go with this right now, even though it's a little bit on the thin side, but I'm not going to. I actually want it to have some good body, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to get it a little bit thicker. Alright, that's pretty good and pretty thick. And that's it. If you want to have a more in-depth look at getting just the right consistency, then go ahead and watch the other video. It's also helpful. Mainly what I wanted to do here was share what I've found about the airbrush medium. And here's another interesting thing about it. I've pretty much used it now for all of my brush painting as well. So when I'm going to thin a paint to brush with, I also use the airbrush medium, and it has really given me some nice smooth finishes that I was never able to do before, and it's really all about that. I've been slowly working my way through the kind of Liquitex additives and seeing what works best and what doesn't. And right now, and as you can see, like this bottle is getting close to empty, and I haven't had it for all that long, and that's because I just use it all the time. But let me get some painting, and you can see how this worked out. There it is. There's so little work, and I've never had any trouble thinning with this airbrush medium. And that's it. And we'll talk to you later. I hope you found this helpful.